He has never done this before.
He knows I'm here.
I know.
The little doggy's here.
Go,
in the studio.
Do you want to please go downstairs?
I'm Kiki, and I'm a storyteller. Everyone has a story, and I'm here to listen. This is What It's Like to Be Here.
Welcome to the newest episode of What It's Like to Be Here, where my guest today is a former work colleague, a professional photographer, my wedding photographer, and longtime friend, Abel Arciniega.
Hola, hola.
Welcome, Abel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here today and venturing down to the south side of Chicago.
Yes, south side in the house. No, I'm a north sider, but south side is awesome. I love coming down here.
I always claim north side because I was born in Humboldt Park. So That's why I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, first and foremost, even though, I got a lot of White Sox stuff in here.
Well, yeah, this room doesn't portray that, but yeah. I'll bring you a little Cubs monito.
All right, there you go. There you go. I need a bobblehead. Abel is also part of the Extra newspaper family.
Yes.
Just like Lauvi, who was my first episode. And actually, Abel, you were the one that passed down that production director job to her that she was talking about.
Yes, I did. I remember. She was a nervous wreck, but look at her now. She's killing it.
I know. And
so proud of her.
We had some really good times at the paper. But when you left, it was very interesting to see where the paper was going to go. What did it feel like to actually venture out on your own?
It was exciting. It was nervous. I was nervous. I had gotten to the point there where I was freelancing so much that it kind of interfered with what I was supposed to be doing at the newspaper, and I didn't want to half-ass either end of it. So I think when I left, it was a perfect time to step out on my own. The first year was kind of scary, obviously, but with time, everything just got better, and the clientele kept growing and growing. So I think it was also perfect to leave that for Laura because she was, kind of growing as a designer, and I saw it in her eyes. She wanted to do something more, and it was like, here you go. She was ready for it. So, yeah. But it was exciting, just like with anything. You just jump in and see what happens, and thankfully, I am at a place where I'm happy.
How long has it been?
So I've been doing photography on my own for, 14 years. Full time.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
With Tequila Graphics.
Nice.
On my own. But before that, I think I was doing it for 3 years. So maybe total 16 years photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So the first question always is, how old are you?
How old am I?
You're the first
19.
one to ask yourself.
So I've lived 25 years in the 20th century and 25 years in the 21st century. So figure that out. Half of my life has been in that century. Half of my life has been in the 21st century. So that's 50, right? 25 and 25, yeah. 50.
Get out of here.
I'm 50. I turned 50 in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel good, though. I don't feel 50.
Age is just a number.
Yeah, and my spirit is not 50 either.
Not at all.
My wife tells me I'm not 50.
There's no way. You don't sound it. You don't look it. No.
Gracias.
And so for the question of the podcast, or it's not even really a question, but tell me, what does it feel like to be here? What's it like to be Abel, the freelance or the entrepreneur, actually, right? You built your business in photography. You've grown up in the city. What does it feel like to be here now?
It's a dream come true. I mean, since I was a kid, I knew I had to do something in the creative field. There was no other option, honestly. I had to figure something out. I remember as a kid, I would take my Hot Wheels and take my mother's nail polish remover and remove all the paint off of the little cars until they were like silver, just plain gray. Mm-hmm. And then I would take her nail polish and just repaint them with my designs and stuff. So since I was a kid, I knew I had to do something creative. Mm-hmm. I think I've had one corporate job in my 50 years here. It was for 3 months. It was just miserable. I had to get up and be there.
What were you doing?
I was consolidating student loans. Think
Sounds
about that.
Awful.
It was horrible. And they had a board up on the wall with everyone's numbers at the end of the month, how many you closed. And I was always at the bottom. So think about how that how I felt. I think in today's culture, you can't do that because then you're like, man, this guy's at the bottom. And, everyone gets participation trophies these days. And that just wouldn't be right. People would be like, why did he do that to my kid?
Right.
But yeah, I was always at the bottom. It was miserable. So I figured it out. And I live off of making images and designs and art for people, clients. And it's super special.
So how long were you designing at the paper?
So I was designing. So I'm an illustrator and a painter, right? I went to Columbia College. It took me 9 years to graduate because I was bouncing all over the place. And it was not until my senior year, I was taking an illustration class. And my professor, Nelson, I forgot his name, but that guy changed my life. He came up to me and he's like, hey, what is it that you want to do? And I was like, I just want to be an illustrator. And he's like, listen, the world's changing. This was a while back. I'm 50. He's like, you need to take some design classes. And I used to call the graphic designer guys, what do I call them? Cut and paste boys. Because to me, graphic design was just, you cut, paste, and whatever, add color here. It wasn't hand illustrations or painting. So to me, that was an art, honestly. I didn't see it as art. But thankfully, I took 2 classes. It was my senior year. And it was pretty cool. I liked it. So when I left, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to draw somewhere or at a job? Who's going to hire me to draw? Yeah. I ended up in the at Éxito, which was previous to Hoy newspaper, which is part family of the Chicago Trib. And I went and interviewed. The lady knew I was horrible. I think it was my personality that got the job, to be honest with you. She hired me, and that's when I met my design mentor, Alberto B-Boy B. I met him there. He taught me so much. So I started designing there at Éxito as a freelancer. Then I went into Extra. So overall, I would say as a designer, I worked for about 11 years as a designer. I mean, web design, graphic design, all of that good stuff. So 11 years, and that's when I transitioned into photography.
And that makes sense because then B-Boy was the head designer, creative director at Café magazine, and that's where I met you. Yes, as a freelance photographer.
Yeah, he taught me a lot design wise because I would sweat in the editorial room when I was designing ads, and he would come and help me. Cool ass dude. That's my boy B. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the
small circle, right?
Yes, it's just the circles.
How it all kind of connects.
And I was just talking to somebody about Café and how that was like a hub. For like the creative people here in Chicago. Yes. Creative Latinos in Chicago.
That was such a great publication.
It was.
It was just cutting edge at the time. It was awesome.
I know. We were ahead of our time, I think, with that one.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And especially when it was described as for second, third generation Latinos in English. Yes. Everything was in English. And I was like, that's us. Yeah. Us. We function and do everything in English and we still love who we are, our backgrounds. So obviously it's so funny because as I was thinking of like where I wanted to take the conversation, obviously creativity, and you already brought that up. So like I was going to say, as I know you as a creative, and despite the designing work, you've always had a creative eye for photography and you draw and all, illustration. What pushed you in that direction? When did you know that was the answer? Was it when you were designing, or like, how do you know that that's what you wanted?
Okay. Well, when I was growing up in the 80s, hip hop was just kind of, Beat Street came out, Wild Style. So I always loved graffiti. So as a kid, I did graffiti and just the colors and combinations. So honestly, that's what did it. Graffiti. I would just have my little characters I would sketch out. And I wasn't the smartest kid in high school, but I always had my black book, sketchbook, and it was just something that called me. It was just art. Nothing else really interested me at all. Zero. Like some people are like, well, I might have been this. Maybe soccer. Soccer was my second love. I loved playing soccer, but I knew I wasn't good enough. But the next best thing is shooting for a professional soccer team, which I do and have for the past 15 years. Pero desde chiquito, I knew it was going to be art. There was literally nothing around it. All my siblings, all 3 of us went to art school. So I guess it's, if you want to put it that way, maybe it was in my parents' genes that they're the ones instilled art in us, not knowing, but all 3 of us went to art school.
And so talk to me about your family. Like who migrated first? Like
So my parents
Background.
both came here, from Mexico, Jalisco, arriba las Chivas.
Nice.
They met here. They didn't meet in Mexico. They met here, and that's how we came about here.
Cool.
And they were in Hermosa Park is where they met.
Okay.
North side.
And
yeah,
what year?
City.
Do you know?
73.
Ah, the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s. Yeah. So, and then we all went to art school, and we've all made a living off of it, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's
which
great.
is unheard of. As you can imagine, as parents, all three of your kids are going to art school. Like, can someone do something else? Go to law school or something? But no, it's in the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does your sister do?
So my sister is a designer.
Oh,
she
okay.
does, what is it, UX? What is that thing called? I'm older now, but
The user experience.
Yes, she's worked with big companies, big agencies for the past 10 or so years. And then my brother is a pretty well-known actor. He was in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and tons of shows. And he currently runs an acting school, which is doing very well. So we've all kind of made it out and rep the city
Yeah, that's awesome.
for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of Chicago, talk to me about Chicago. What was, you talked about hip hop already, but what was it like growing up here? And what's your version of it?
Oh my God, I love Chicago. Everywhere I go, I'm blessed to photograph across the country. For the past 15 years, I've been photographing across the country. And it brings so much joy when I hear other people, where they're like, where are you from? Where are you from? I'm from Chicago. And they're like, oh my God, I love Chicago. I love Chicago. Everyone has told me that they love Chicago. The food, the people that were kind. I don't see that part. Because, you're driving around, people yell at you. But they're always so excited to talk to me about the city. And me, I'm glowing. I'm like, oh yeah, Chicago. When you come to Chicago, go here. Aside from the tourist place, go here. But Chicago is in everything that I do. I mean, it's home. It's home. It's home. I rep it 100%. Chi-town.
I can see that. He has
Yes.
a Dear Chicago hat on. He has a
Chicago
fire. I always get confused because the Cubs also have something similar.
The sea.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but
there's you can't get bored here. I mean, it's a creative hub. It's in the middle of the country per se. Everyone loves Chicago, no matter where you're from.
So where's been your favorite place to shoot?
In the city? God, I've shot so much everywhere.
Yeah.
There are beautiful indoor places like the cultural center is a hidden gem. Outdoor, the outdoors are beautiful in every season. You can say the skyline area, but there are just so many cool little nooks where you can get a glimpse of the city. You don't necessarily have to go down to like Museum Campus Drive. So many cool little places. And the thing about the city is you can walk everywhere. You can move public transportation, shooting in the train yards. There's just so much. It's hard.
Yeah. What line did you live off of?
The blue line. We have the blue line.
Were you riding that all the time or?
Yeah, to school, to Columbia College. I always rode the blue line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know that photography was the next creative step?
That's a good question because a lot of people ask me, "Oh, was your dad a photographer?" I never knew I wanted to be a photographer. It's not something that I wanted to do. To me, it was just art, drawing, and painting is all I knew. I didn't have a camera as a kid. They were expensive, and I never showed interest to where my parents were like, "Hey, do you want a camera?" It wasn't until honestly at the newspaper, at Extra community newspaper, that I got tired of using stock images for homegrown stories. So there used to be a Nikon on the top drawer, I clearly remember. And I got tired of using stock photos and I grabbed the camera. I was like, well, if we're doing a story of this person who just opened up the restaurant, I'm going to go photograph the person in this restaurant. And it brought joy to them, which then in turn brought joy to me for them to see themselves in the front page, which was pretty awesome, rewarding. And that's where it took off, honestly. I got excited. The newspaper, the publisher got excited that there was more movement in the newspaper. The papers were getting picked up more because people were seeing themselves. People were seeing neighbors they knew, people, the tío. So it was more engaging, and they loved that. So we transitioned from a non-full page front cover of the newspaper to a full page front cover, which I would photograph. And things started moving like crazy enough. And the publisher's like, you know what? Can you design everything more image driven? Which was awesome and exciting to me because I was like, all right, I found this new love where I'm creating stuff visually. So I would go photograph pretty much every homegrown story that I could. Obviously, you have press releases and stuff. You have the fillers for the newspaper.
Yep.
But everything that was homegrown, I would go photograph.
Okay.
And I ended up loving it. So because then you start building relationships with these people in the communities, which was awesome. And that's where it took off. And here I am 16 years later. I've made a great living off of it. I ran my business, and I tip my hat off to all those hardworking people, man. It was exciting to go photograph, for instance, a restaurant that opened up, because, you know, those people saved that money and their dream of opening this thing up, and to be there and capture that was super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been your, I guess, biggest achievement or greatest achievement so far within the photography space?
Now I love when up and coming photographers reach out to me on Instagram and they're like, hey, any advice? And I've mentored a few photographers now. I love that, because when I was doing it, I didn't have anyone. I did have one, which is my mentor. His name is Ken Carl. I met him through the newspaper, and he's always been so helpful. Like, he would borrow. I couldn't afford these, because a pro level camera is going to cost you about $6,500 to $7,000. I couldn't afford a camera like that.
Right.
And that was no lenses. So Ken would borrow me his stuff, which to me was mind boggling, that he's giving me this stuff to borrow. He said, yeah, go ahead and shoot with it, learn with it. So I want to do that now. And that, to me, that's the most rewarding thing. When they reach out to me and I can help someone, and later on, 2 years, 3 years later, I see them, doing their thing, and they're like, man, thank you so much for what you did. And I've given people flashes, and I was like, I don't want them back. Whatever, just go do your thing, figure it out. That's rewarding. That's the most rewarding thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what is like one main piece of advice that you would give photographers trying to get out there?
It's a different time, because we have social media. When I started in 2004, we didn't have Instagram or any of that stuff. So, but my number one thing has always been to sell yourself as the best, because no one else is going to. In photography, it's a lot of people get stuck on pricing their work, and what am I going to charge? Here's the thing. I've always been like, this is going to be my price. That's pretty much it. If you can't pay it, I get it totally. But this is the product I am giving you. You saw it on my website, and this is what I'm charging. You don't go to a restaurant. I really like this steak, but I can only pay $20 for the steak. Then you're gonna have to get a hot dog or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't change on my end. You can't. This is what the price is. So I tell photographers, stand your ground. Sell yourself as the best, because no one else is going to do it for you, man. You got to stick to your pricing and your confidence in what you're going to deliver to the client. And that's another big thing, client relationships. That's a whole nother story of, yes, you can take great photos, you can, edit them great, but the relationship with client, and just as an entrepreneur, all the back end stuff to that is so important, where a lot of these kids don't know about. They just want to grab a camera, go shoot, and make money, but there's so much more behind it.
And I think that's the same with any art form, right?
Yes.
Like, folks just want to create, and I get that.
I get it.
But if you want to make a living off of it,
I was just going to say, there comes a point where you want to make a living off of it. You know what I mean? I get it. It's dope. I just want to paint. I don't care about anything. I just want to paint, smoke herb, and chill. That's totally cool. But you're getting older. You're growing up. Hopefully, you want to get married. Maybe not. Have a family. Maybe not. But you need to pay rent. I mean, you gotta. You know what I mean? You got to find the business side of it, because that's super important. The business side of it. I've gotten clients just based off of referrals through corporate clients, where because if a client brings me in to photograph a convention, let's say, and the client's like, oh my God, our clients, their clients, the people they've invited, are speaking so highly of you. That makes my client happy. And obviously, man, that the person I brought in, the photographer I brought in, is making our clients happy. You're easy to talk to. You made them look good in photos. So that alone, they start referring you, and you don't really have to market anymore. It's these important relationships with clients that you have to build. Deliverables have to be on time, and invoicing, following up with thank you emails. All of that stuff is so important to run a business as an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
as an artist. Yeah.
And I remember, because part of Expo Collective that I was running before was trying to educate our artists on entrepreneurship, just like just the simple things about like selling yourself or having that charisma, right? Bringing that part out, saying like, hi, my name is, and this is what I do, and this is how I do it. And a lot of people are just like, I'm not in it for the business side. And I'm like, but you have to live. It costs to live.
Right. Unless you're fine with your 9 to 5 and then you're just doing art on the side for the love of it, that's totally fine too. Mm-hmm. But if you want to make a business out of it, you have to learn the business side of things.
What kind of, I guess, it always takes, right? You have to practice your trade to get good at whatever it is that you're doing. Did you ever take like a really lame gig just to be able to practice, or was it just more of you doing whatever you needed to do to get that practice in?
I treat every single client with respect in a sense where I'm going to deliver and give it my 100%. It's never practice for me. I practiced on my kids, lighting scenarios at home, build your own studios. I did a lot of that stuff. So when it's showtime, it's showtime. I've shot clients from, $500 to $10,000. But every single client is going to get 100% of me and the love I have for the craft, no matter who it is. If you're shooting an event, and you find free time and you want to get creative to practice some stuff, that's totally cool too, because you're on site and you're there with your gear. But make sure, I always make sure to get my key shots, everything that I know I need for the client. And if I have free time here and there, I can try to get creative with some stuff, especially for portrait work. I go in there, I know what they're looking for. And if I have some time, hey, let's try something here, practicing on site with my gear. But I always make sure to get the staples of what I need for that specific job. Mm-hmm. And free time, I'll do my own stuff for the sake of trying to try something new.
What was the most exciting gig you've done?
That's a good question. I've done so much cool shit.
I know.
Man, there's so many. I knew you were going to ask this. I really did.
And you didn't think about it?
Everyone is exciting. Think about it, right? I don't shoot weddings anymore. I did weddings for about 10 years. But for instance, your wedding that I photographed, right? Mm-hmm. You met the guy, you've dated him, you fought with him, I'm sure, at some point. But all that builds up to your moment where you're going to get married, and you're super excited about that. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I'm photographing one of your biggest days of your life. So to me, that's super exciting. Not everyone gets an opportunity. It's only one day to do, and I'm there with you. So that to me is exciting. Like you're starting a new life with someone, and I'm there to capture this thing. So that's exciting as shit to me. Life is happening. Life is happening in front of us. And then I'm shooting, at Dodger Stadium with Fluffy. Mm-hmm. It was the first time a comedian ever sold out Dodger Stadium. He hired me, flew me out to shoot that. That's badass exciting. So there's just different types of exciting, but everything is awesome. You know what I mean? Like when a player scores his first goal, he's a rookie and it's first goal, and I was able to get him and his excitement, hands in the air, jumping. That's dope. Everything, every shoot is exciting. Mm-hmm. Some are more exciting, whatever. I got to meet some great artists like Shakira, Mark Anthony. That's cool, but that's cool. But like the homegrown stuff, the smaller stuff, the I don't want to say, but the regular people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are doing shit. That's awesome to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a photojournalist?
Yes. Yeah. It's crazy because a lot of, during weddings, when I would do weddings, brides would hire me and they're like, hey, we just want this photojournalistic. But you're hiring me to be there. You're paying me to be there. It's not really journalistic. They're like, we don't want any direction. So you show up to the wedding, you're standing there and they're standing there and they're like, so what do we do? So that's not journalistic per se. You know what I mean? But I did journalism for freelance for the Chicago Trib for a while. That was pretty cool because you just show up and you just capture what's happening. You know, same thing with sports. Like players are doing their thing. They know photographers are there or whatever, but you're not hired by them, or it's just things are unfolding. I am editorial, journalistic. I call it guided journalism is the term I came up with a few years back.
Okay.
I would tell, it's not journalism because you're paying me to be there. It's more kind of like guided journalism. I'll kind of tell you to do something here. And if I see something's working, I'll come in and kind of, well, I like this. Why don't we shift this way? So it's kind of more of a guided journalistic approach as opposed to journalism. Mm-hmm. Although I did journalism for a few years and it was awesome too.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah.
Okay. So you like to just tell the story as you see it.
Yes, to me that's the best. Yeah, you just show up, shoot, and you roll out. Yeah.
How many drives of photos do you have?
That's crazy because the Chicago Fire called me, I think 2 weeks ago, and they wanted something from, I think, 4 years ago. I keep a drive for every year for the past 16, 17 years. So I've had brides call me, my grandfather passed away. Do you have a photo? I'm like, give me the year. And,
oh, wow.
And I'll just search it up and it comes up. Yeah.
How much memory is in one of those?
Now it's terabytes.
Okay.
Back in the day it was, gigs. But now it's terabytes. Yeah. I usually run a 4 terabyte drive every year. And everything's on there. And I have them stacked up from like 2008 and then 19. So they're in a little tower. Yeah. It's cool, though, because then you go back and I look at some of this shit. I'm like, God, I was horrible. But it's awesome to see the growth, you know? Yeah. And then there's just different expectation these days of images. You know, back then, like, wow, that looks awesome. And now you're like, the lighting's not that great, actually, you know? Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll go back and I'll edit stuff and like, man, this actually looks decent, you know? Like, but it's cool to see growth. It really is. And anything that you do in art, just, you know, as an illustrator, I drew this. That's crap. And then 10 years later, oh my God, you see the progress, how much better you've gotten. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so with the growth of, you know, social media and all of the everything, I feel like everything's video, everything is images.
Yes.
How have you seen it change? Like as the person creating that, you know, things that you've had to do differently or things that you've had to take into account over the years? You
know, to this day, I still have my website. A lot of younger kids are like, you have a website? That sounds weird, but I still do have a website. And obviously I put my best work on there. You know, corporate clients, depending the sector, still want to see a good website put together with images and not just, you know, because if you go into my social channel, it's photos, but there's also life happening, you know, in between. So sometimes I'll post of me and the kids chilling at a fest or something. Clients don't want to see that, you know, like they want to hire you. They want to see the work you do. Back in the day, I used to have a website for weddings, events, sports. And I'll never forget, there was an editor who told me, listen, a bride doesn't want to see your soccer photos. A sports editor doesn't want to see a bride. You know what I mean? You got to separate the things, you know? So I did that. But I think it's you know, me being older, it's hard. I shoot so much. It's hard to keep up with social media. It really is. I would love to just post every single job that I did. It's hard. So if there's any interns out there who want to, you know, help me out with my social channels, and then in turn, I'll bring you to some cool events to shoot to build your portfolio, get at me or Christina. Yeah. That was just a side note there, but it's true. Yeah. But it's hard to keep up because then, you know, I have to caption everything and edit, you know, that obviously you shoot, you have to cull through the images, you have to edit, you have to deliver. Then you got to think about, all right, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It's tough.
So you've never really needed social media though?
Thankfully, no. You know, I'm at a place where I can pick and choose who I want to work with. And you know, there's a lot. If I'm not posting, it doesn't mean I'm not working. It's just, I'd rather just, you know, be more chill now.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the times people think that, right? Like, oh, if you're not posting anything on social.
100%.
Yeah. Are you even working?
Yes.
What are you doing now? You know,
because sometimes, let's say the season's over in soccer, and then I'll see the guys, you know, 3-4 months later. They say, what you been up to? I haven't seen you post anything. It's crazy, right? It's the kids. I want to be like, dude, I've been working my ass off. I've been traveling, but I just don't post that stuff. You know? And then you got to know, too, if you're doing something more private with a corporate client, you can't post that stuff. You know, it's internal for them. And I get it, a lot of these photographers, look what I'm doing. But then it's like me asking you, are you making any money? It's like for them to ask me, are you working?
Right.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And I think well, for me, I've been working in social media for so long.
Yes, you have.
And I actually just stopped recently. My job changed so that I don't have to work on social. I was celebrating. I was so happy because
it's overwhelming.
It is. It's overwhelming. And you realize how it's all just one big pay to play game.
Yes.
And so just because somebody's life looks like it's, miraculous on social or somebody's posting all these photos of things that they're working on, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
100%. I don't know if you noticed, but Instagram got rid of the like. You have an option to show how many likes you got. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of photographers now, it's off.
Yeah.
And why? You know what I mean?
Right. It's interesting. Just like the game that you're trying to play, right? Mm-hmm. Showing versus actually doing.
Versus doing, right.
And so for you, what has the role of like relationships played? I know you touched on this already a little bit, but like, how does that keep you going? Because one of the things that I was looking up when I was trying to educate artists on business is, right, like there's like, I don't know, 200 different ways to market yourself, right? And one of them is relationship marketing, which is what you were talking about. So can you talk a little bit about that and how it's helped your business stay afloat, essentially?
Yes. I've been blessed enough to have clients for 8, 10, 12 years now. So I know, per se, every year I look ahead and project what my year is going to look like. Thankfully, I do a lot of work with the city. So a lot of stuff that comes into the city, all of the major sporting events, all of the huge conventions, I'm in the top 3, maybe even 1 photographers that gets stuff sent to. Hey, this person's coming in. They're looking for a photographer. Mm-hmm. Because I've built those relationships.
Right.
I don't want to name any names, but the agencies in Chicago, I'm on top of their list. So I don't advertise. I don't advertise anymore because I've paid dues and, have done stuff for free here and there. And that's another thing we can talk about, doing stuff for free. But I don't advertise anymore. But the thing is, when you do land that client that you're like, man, I can't believe I have this client, you have an opportunity, a big opportunity that so many other photographers would want to have. Because, listen, we're in Chicago. It's a big-ass market. There are tons of photographers.
Oh, yeah.
If you are ever given an opportunity, you got to show out, man. Mm-hmm. You have to do the job, dress professionally, speak professionally, deliver on time, and over-deliver. And I don't mean send them 6,000 photos or what have you, but, after, depending on what the client wants, okay, can you get this over in a week? Sure, I'll get it in a week. Deliver it in 2 days, 3 days. All those little things add up. And I've had clients tell me, oh my God, we love Abel because, he shoots great photos to begin with and then he delivers quickly. So whenever you get a chance to get to that client, you have to deliver. And that's where they'll start referring you to other people and other people. Mm-hmm. And it becomes a referral machine where you really don't have to do anything anymore. You just sit around and do what you do, and then emails come in from clients coming out of the state or what have you.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed to be in that position, to be honest with you. But it's a lot of work. You got to put in the work. It just didn't happen, you know? Is.
Right. And so things that you touched on, too, is like consistency, right? Being consistent about who you are, showing up every time you have a job to do, doing it well. Mm-hmm. And then obviously having a good attitude about it, right? Yes. It's like that all goes into being that professional that you need to be in order to, get the jobs to keep you afloat.
It's not just taking the photos. Yeah.
Right.
Personality, all of that stuff plays so much into it.
And so I feel like that's something that people can't, I don't know. It's and not that they can't do it, but it's like, I feel like you need to want it that badly.
Yeah. A lot of it is too, like, these artists, I'm not trying to sell out to corporate, but you got to, if you want to make that move, again, if you want to just paint and chill and do what you do, that's totally fine, and keep your 9-to-5 job. But me, I knew I wanted to make a living from art. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I had to learn the business side of things and balance those things out, because I can shoot outside every day if I want, but if no one's hiring me,
right?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm keeping it real. Whatever the hell I'm shooting, I love photography. It's a passion, but it's not paying bills. And it's got to be a balance.
And how did you find that balance? How long did it take you to find that balance, I guess?
Well, when I was in the newspaper, I was lucky enough when I would go out and shoot, I would make relationships with people, and they would ask me, "Hey, do you do stuff on the side outside of the newspaper?" Yes, I do. Here's my card. Back then we had cards. Here's my card. The first year was tough, honestly. I think I made $18,000. You can't live off of 18 grand.
No.
Right? But thankfully, every year, next year was 22 grand or whatever. And it just kept building and building, and, and again, it was just relationships. At the end of the year, sending emails, "Hey guys, thank you so much for looking forward to working with you next year. Happy holidays." All those small little things make a difference. They really do. I would send out cookies to clients with my logo on them.
Yeah.
Just all those little things that they remember. So when their events come again, they're going to hit you up. And it's built to the point where I make a really good living off of it.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
It sounds like you have a little corporation yourself. Just
Yes.
because the way that you have to be organized, you keep everything, you're considering your clients, you're sending out holiday cards.
Because think about it, those clients, they're working 9 to 5s every day, hustles and blah, blah, blah. And to get a cool little email from one of their contractors thanking them for you working with them and hopefully working with them in the future, it's a little break for them, and all those small little things, they'll genuinely, email me back. But thank you so much for this. I needed this. You too. Happy holidays to you and your family. All those small little things. Plan out, yeah.
So what do you do when you're not working?
Good question. What am I doing? I don't watch TV really, just sports.
Okay.
So I work out, and usually by the end of the year for me, it slows down a bit. So I'll refresh my website, and then just a to-do list that I don't do. I just don't do. Yeah. That's a good question. I'll get back to drawing, So during COVID, I got back to designing, and that's when I hit the thing with the bulls that I did design. So that was pretty cool, to kind of full circle thing. But my goal is full circle when I retire, just paint.
Just to paint.
And chill.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like living the life right there.
Yeah. Imagine.
When you talk to people, when you travel, what's like the one piece of advice when they talk about Chicago and they say, or if they ask, where should I go in Chicago? Where do you tell them? What do you tell them?
I tell them, number one, not to believe the media, because Chicago is safe. I mean, don't believe all the crap. And we have 77 coming on 78 neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I think we're the
Are they
78th
building another one?
Yeah, it's where the Chicago Fire Stadium is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the 78 or the 77. Yeah, I think it's a 78. Well, to me, I tell them, look, get a little culture from everything. Like I can say Little Village or Pilsen, that's Mexican. Go to, Chinatown and that. So mix it up, north, south, west, east, what have you. We have so much dope shit here. It's unbelievable to kind of sum it up. But pizza, I know people are going to talk about pizza.
Your favorite pizza?
My favorite deep dish is Pequod's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo.
And my favorite thin pizza is Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Peace
okay.
Pizza, the brewery.
On Milwaukee? Is it in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's in Wicker Park. Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah.
They have, that was the first time I had like a naked pizza, I think.
Yeah, they have the naked pizza. And then they have a potato pizza with little slices of potato. It's so good.
What? I never tried that one.
That's awesome.
The one thing that I haven't seen here that I saw abroad in Europe was tuna pizza.
Huh.
And that actually was pretty good.
Really?
Yes.
Tuna pizza.
So if anybody knows of, tuna pizza anywhere, Peace seems like the place where you would find something like that.
Yeah, they do really good pies. They're good. Yeah.
Pequod's, there was when I met my husband, we were there like every week. We literally were like,
really?
Yeah. It was like, yes, Pequod's, let's go.
Pequod's is, yeah. What's the best pizza here in the South Side?
Pequod's.
There you go. Boom. I love that. That is awesome.
We like, there's a Poppin' Pizza for thin crust. There's Poppin' Pizza. It's a little neighborhood joint, right? Kitty corner from my parents' house. It's on 59th and Lawndale. But it's called Poppin' Pizza. We usually get the special. And
like
it's like
pop in to the place? Or it's poppin'?
Pop-N Pizza.
Oh, Pop-N Pizza. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then if you order a large, you get an RC.
It's got to be RC in Chicago, man. Nothing else.
Nope.
Wow.
What's your favorite home, local thing? Like in terms of like RC, right? Or Jay's Potato Chips or Vintners is another thing.
Vintners, yeah.
Do you have a favorite local thing that you can't find anywhere else? Milagro tortillas, for example.
Sabritones. I know they're everywhere, but
those are everywhere.
I love sabritones.
We got the biggest bag in Mexico City.
Really? And they put more chile on them.
Yeah.
Mexico City is awesome with art. I mean, it's booming with culinary. It's a whole nother conversation there. But yeah. So I used to, when I was designing, I used to look up at their designers in Chicago, in Mexico City. They've won so many awards. Yeah, prestigious awards for design. There was a football newspaper called Record. I don't know if it still exists. Record, like record, but a Record. Amazing design.
Really?
Amazing design, yeah.
Interesting.
They're so ahead of our time. Mexico City design. So dope.
Who are some of the other photographers or artists that you kind of look up to?
That's a good question. Graffiti-wise, I love Cobra. He's a Brazilian dude. He has a lot of murals here in Chicago. He actually has one of a photographer. I forgot the picture of the actual photographer. It's in Wicker Park. Yeah, he's dope. Cobra. And then in regards to photographers, well, it depends. If it's like people I know now that are doing dope shit, which there are a lot of them, or, the old school heads like the Ansel Adams kind of things. I never really was into that because I didn't grow up wanting to be a photographer. If you want to talk about art, like Caravaggio, like dope painters that I looked up to that I love.
Yeah.
But the photographers, I never really grew up admiring any photographers because I didn't want to be. I never planned to be a photographer. So when I got into it, it was more like I was doing it for editorial purposes, and I never really started. I was already early 20s. I wasn't really like, who's my favorite photographer?
Yeah,
it's just work started taking off, and it's now I just work with a lot of badass photographers out on the field, man. A lot of really good photographers. Yeah.
All right, dope. What keeps you going every day?
Well, art itself, art creating, and my kids, obviously.
Yeah.
They want no part of art, which is fine.
Yeah.
They haven't shown any interest in art at all. But I look at the finish line where it's going to be this beautiful journey where I started painting my Hot Wheels with my mom's nail polish to making a living off of creating images for clients across the country, to a whole full circle where I'm going to have my little casita somewhere in Mexico, Guadalajara, and I'm just going to get up in the morning, smoke a joint, and paint, and walk to the mercado. That's a great story, end of story for me.
All right.
So, salud.
Yeah. Looking into 2026, do you have any things planned in terms of cool places you're going to visit, jobs that are lining up, anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of, this year was pretty badass. We had NASCAR again for the third and final year. It was NASCAR. And then the All Blacks came to play Ireland, the rugby internet. It was like 63,000 people showed up.
Jeez.
The announcing of the All-Star game at Wrigley Field was this year. So there was a lot of cool shit, man. There's just so much happening in Chicago. Next year we have, the President's Cup, right? Riders Cup, President's Cup. That's coming. And then we have USA's playing Germany at Soldier Field the week before they head out. So I'll be covering a lot of that stuff. Well, all of it, really. So I'm excited for that. It's those big sporting events.
That's awesome because you get to be part of those monumental city events that 65,000 people are going to be at.
Right, yeah. So I'm excited for that stuff. There's some other stuff I can't say, but there's some dope shit coming to Chicago. Yeah.
You got the in.
Yeah. Stay tuned because it's a great city. Summers are awesome here.
Oh, they're amazing here. Yeah. All right. Well, Abel, is there anything that you want to mention about Chicago, about growing up?
Yeah, I'm just thankful. It's a great city to work in. There's always so much going on. I wouldn't be anywhere else. I've traveled to a lot of cities to shoot and work. Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful places, but it's just the grit here. I love it, and the grit, and it's a very clean city.
Yeah.
It's a clean city. I'm proud to raise my kids here. I know we get a lot of bad press, but it's such a great city. You can do so much. You can do whatever the hell you want here, man. You can dream big dreams. You can make them happen here. There's so many resources. It's awesome. We just got to get ICE out of here, and then we'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a whole nother topic.
Well, at this time and at this moment, I'm thankful that you came through to sit down for the interview, because I feel like it's important to tell our stories, and especially, an entrepreneur like yourself, right, that has lived and worked in this city for so long. It's important just to like talk about it, to get it out there, to have it recorded, to have people get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
And not just as the photographer that stands in the corner,
Yeah, I'm always behind the scenes. Yeah. But all the photographers, the kids coming up, just, use what's available to you, your tools. Keep shooting. Don't ask for approval. You have Instagram, social media, just keep posting. You're going to get noticed. There's a story about a kid who I've worked with for 2 years now, and I remember him first starting off, and he was shooting, and he would ask me questions. Hey, Abel, I want to be like you when I grow up. I was like, no, you're going to be you, bro. And he busted his ass, and this year, Premier League invited him to go over to Europe and shoot out there.
Wow.
And he made his dream come true, and it's so awesome to see that.
Yeah.
But he was consistent. He would post and post and post and post. So use your the tools you have as photographers. I didn't have those when I was a kid, but when I was in photography, but use them and just keep posting. Don't apologize to anyone. Keep posting. Don't look for okays or the stupid likes or anything, because eventually it's going to hit.
Yeah.
It's going to hit.
And also, as a marketer, build your own website. Because
Yes.
that way you own everything that's on your website. By posting everything on social, you're giving up your rights. You're giving up, whoever's owns it is going to take that.
Yeah.
But if you have your website, you get to own everything on there. You get to write your own story. You get to post whatever pictures you want. Kudos for keeping up the website.
Yeah.
All right, Abel. Well, thank you so much again for being here.
Awesome.
And for all of our listeners, if you have any questions for Abel, or, I need to hire him for something.
Or that intern that I need for my social channels.
Exactly. Clique Communications at gmail.com is my email address. So send me an email. And for everything else, Abel's social channels, I'm going to put everything in the show notes. So check that out.
Perfecto. Thank you so much for having me. I know it's been a while, so this is actually really nice to just chill, catch up. And I'm always cheering for you. Congratulations on this. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Adios.
Bye-bye.